All right, hey guys, we have a legend, at least in my eyes, Gillette Sheraton, a vintage razor from 30s, I believe, or late 20s, and it has done a great job with a particular blade, my Nacet. Got 160 shaves on it as of yesterday. So today's 161. Brush we're going to use today is this Semogue 2000. It's a Boar brush. Of course, if you're familiar with Boar brushes, they are a great inexpensive option if you're not experienced with Boars. I really like this 2000 a lot. I will likely keep this knot. The handle could use some improvement for my big hand, so I might rehome the knot into a better handle. The soap today is one from Barrister and Mann. They were working on their reserve soap base, and this is one of the bases that was actually something that they were trying out right before they managed to narrow down and lock in on the reserve base. And so this is not glissant, which is before reserve, and it's not actually reserve, but it's close. And so I'm probably going to love the base because reserve is one of my favorites. Soapmakers of Awesometown. It's a neat story. It came out on April Fool's Day, the year it came out. I don't think they did another run of it. It's got a kind of a reflective label. Maybe this can help you read what you need to read. It says Soapmakers of Awesometown, luxury dragon tallow shaving soap. So that's got to be the April Fool part, right? By order of the Duke of Grand Fenwick. And it's in their usual reserve containers, and the back part says may also contain traces of dragon tallow, fairy dust, unicorn milk, and elf tears. So that's pretty funny. The scent, I tried it once before, a couple years ago. Somebody sent me a sample. I didn't like it, but I don't know if I got a good idea of what it actually was. And who knows, back then my nose was just different. I'd appreciated a whole different types of scents back then. So this has, and to my nose, smelling it from the dry tub, the passion fruit is there, a little bit of lavender and some citrus, including ylang. Now, also is sandalwood. There's also sandalwood in this soap, but I didn't really smell too much of it, but I'm sure it's there, kind of giving a base to the soap. But of course, we're about to get it wet, and who knows what's going to come out. Who knows what's going to become more dominant than the other stuff. So I've got my Boar brush soaking. This particular one is not soaking for a long time, just for the several minutes of prep for today's shave, instead of my usual Boarathon minimum of an hour. All right, so I'm going to show you the proof of me putting my marathon blade into the razor. The Nacet is paper's yellowing and the ink is bleeding from the Sharpie ink. It's just getting old. All right, so here's the very clean top of the Nacet blade, and then this time the X is in the top up here that I put on the blade before I started using it for marathon use. So I'm going to take the X part and put it down. That's what I'm always doing, just kind of a test, a little scientific experiment. Now she's ready to go. I don't know, this razor just bends the blade at something that just works really well for my skin. Maybe another blade is the one that you're able to take to 150 shaves or something, but for me, so far, this one's doing it. All right, I'm going to splash my face with water. Went ahead and just did it instead of pausing you. Then we'll load up the soap. It's almost thick with sweetness and that passion fruit. Very just a thick sweetness. Almost too much. Almost syrupy, you know. That's what I'm getting from the dry. So this is hard water that I have in my tap here, and it's just tepid. Shake most of the water out is my usual procedure. And let's load this guy up. I can't see my timer. Let's see. I'm going to have to pause you for a second. Okay, there we go. So, here we go. Yep, 0 rolled around right there. So we'll start. Just a 30-second load is my kind of standard amount. It's starting to bubble kind of quickly, and this isn't a soap that probably hasn't been lathered in a long time. 15 seconds in, and we're already dripping over the edge, and you saw how I just didn't have very much water in that brush. It's just the way this soap reacts. And 3 more, and there's 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds of load. Now, you know, if you don't have a clock in your bathroom, or you just don't really feel like timing, you know, your shave is supposed to be relaxed at least most of the time. If that's what you're going for, I like to use it as a relaxing experience. Now, part of the joy for me is sharing it with you and helping people, teaching and informing. So I get joy out of that. So I don't mind watching the clock a little bit. But if that's not your thing, that's okay. If you're consistent with your soap, then all you have to do is, and your brush is the same, which a lot of people it is, just count your circles, count your swirls in the soap puck. And that's a way you can quantify it and get consistent. Now, once you get a whole load of shaves under your belt, you probably get a feel for it. Then you don't have to count anymore. Pretty much the same scent as from the dry. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of water in there. So this brush has only been used about 15 times, but usually before each use it has been soaking in water for about an hour or 3. And I've done that because I'm bringing up a whole bunch of boars at one time, 7 boars. And I wanted them to have some kind of break-in procedure, but just one that wasn't very aggressive. So I opted for just a tepid soak right before the shave. Bristles only, no handles. So this is staying pretty low in terms of the structure. It's not puffing up and getting foamy or anything like that. With 1 teaspoon. Give it another half. Really like this brush. It's got maybe a 25 millimeter knot, and it's the throw of the loft of the bristles is kind of long too, so you can see I had to put in a couple of black O-rings there to focus the bristles into my face instead of letting it get quite so wide, and I really enjoyed that. Comfortable brush. Some of the tips have split. I'm not getting a lot of soap right here. That's okay. Seems to be coming up kind of slow. Let's feel of it and see if it's... I think I might have to go Maybe I'll just work with this much soap, because it's I don't think it's quite as silky smooth as the Reserve usually likes to be. Let's add just a little bit more water, just a touch, not even a half teaspoon. Just kind of see if that increases our load a little bit. So we don't have tons like I usually do, but I bet it's enough to do the job. Let's try it out. A little water on my face again. Now, you know, a lot of times when you read in threads that talk about how they use their blades so many times, they'll say the prep is crucial. Prep is crucial, but it doesn't seem to be the case for me. Don't know if I'm just an odd duck, but just water. That's all. That's my prep. That's what you just saw. 2 splashes of water. All right, let's work on this lather here. Yeah, I don't remember this scent being in that sample that I tried a couple years ago. Also, this is kind of thinning down. How about that? Maybe it's just kind of old, and so I needed to load for longer. Definitely fruity. And the description on the website said they were kind of going for fruity and funky. And I get that. I definitely get that. So the Soapmakers of Awesometown, according to the little soap page, was something they were considering kind of half serious to name Barrister and Mann, and I obviously decided not to go with it, but I think it's hilarious, and so they decided to put out this soap to kind of poke fun at that. All right, blade exposure looks good. This one's always pretty much exactly right every time. So let's just start with the grain. I've shaved the last 10 shaves without this razor, so it's possible that the blade could have smoothed out in a way that maybe this razor doesn't like it, but it seems to be all right. A little bit of tugging. A little painful, but it's not a big deal. It's kind of the tugging you might feel after like a 2-day shave or a 3-day shave. And it only lasts the first pass in some sections of your face. Second and third passes are always very nice with this guy. All right, there we go. I think maybe this soap might need a little bit longer load time. We'll just see how everything works out. Let me rinse this off. So why don't we exhaust the supply that's in the bowl here, and then we can maybe think about going back to the tub if in fact we need to. Yeah, I mean, there's not much in there now. But see, I may not need that much, because right now I'm just painting it on. And I don't need a super thick coat. I just need it to be slick. This is pretty thin, so maybe I watered this down a little bit more than I should have. So that's, I think I refilled. Can't remember if I refilled. I'm right here now, so this is, if I refilled the syringe, then this is almost 4 teaspoons. If I didn't, it's almost 2 teaspoons. I can't remember. Cross grain now. Yeah, this definitely doesn't have the same silky feel as the Reserve does, but it's still nice. A little too wet. You can kind of tell, you can maybe hear the razor skipping a little bit. But it's easy to rinse from the razor. Comfortable passes here. All right. I'm going to rinse and do it again. Now, because it's a little on the thin side, I kind of dabbed in my face with my towel instead of leaving water on it. Let's see what that does to the mix here. This may be the most soap I've ever used, meaning the least I've left over at the end of the shave. I think I'm going to be fine though. How about that? You just don't need too much. I like to have a little bit extra just for kind of margin. All right. So a little bit left, but not much. I could probably, I could probably squeeze enough out for a touch-up pass, usually right here, but we'll see if I need to. Really comfortable here. Nice and slick. You just don't have to have a ton of soap if it's a good soap. All it does is provide that nice slickness for you to protect your skin, and it doesn't need thickness to do that. And that's the third pass. All right, I'm going to rinse and then check everything out. So I really enjoy this little guy. Just dropped him on the towel back there, and it's comfortable. Enough backbone. See, it does spring back. Enough backbone to hold those tips, give you a good face feel, good soft kind of mix of comfort and massage, you know, and no scritch, no scratching at all, very soft. What are we looking at in terms of splitting, tips splitting? I'm not seeing tons. So, and I think they're going to, right? So I see some. But if they, It looks like it's taking a while, but I mean, it's comfortable while we wait, so I'm happy about that. So my thing with this soap is it too funky? Funky like maybe if you were to take a passion fruit and citrus juice and distill it down and remove the water to where it gets sweeter and sweeter and more concentrated, and not a zesty citrus, but more of a sweet orange and passion fruit maybe. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And I don't know if it's too kind of thick, clogging up your kind of throat with the sweetness and the thickness, almost like fudge. You can only eat small bites of fudge because it's just so rich. And so this is a citrus and fruit richness that, I don't know. I'm going to give it some more tries and see. I could see loving this if maybe that sandalwood that's in it was a little bit stronger, or some other type of some woody notes that came into play with this guy. I would think that'd be an amazing blend. So he's a little heavy, a little thick right now in that kind of sweet department, fruity. All right, 161 shaves with the Nacet. And the Sheraton, coming back to the Sheraton after 10 shaves, and it didn't miss a beat. Same good shaves that I've gotten. A little tuggy on the first pass, a little uncomfortable, but the rest of them are terrific. And I'm getting good results. I'm getting very good results here. A few of some tips I've seen right here, but I didn't really want to do the touch-up pass that it might get them. Now I don't have quite the Nye BBS Baby Butt Smooth shave as usual, but it's a good shave. It's a good close shave. Be interesting to see. I'll try the same blade and razor combo tomorrow, and we'll see if maybe a better lather, a little more dense lather might give me a better result. So we'll watch that and pay attention to the difference. All right, what do we have down below for post-shave? I have something that's really more like milk than it is a balm. Sapone de Paolo Orange. Arancione, I guess maybe, might be how you come close to pronouncing that. But this is kind of thin stuff, but it works pretty well. Yeah, the scent of the orange, of course, blends with the Soapmakers of Awesometown, the SOA. So that's a good mix, and it kind of pulls it back from being quite so sticky, thick, sweet. So syrupy, that's a good word. Syrup, the fudge of citrus. All right. So I'm happy with that shave. And afraid you'll have to look back at the video to see if I refilled this guy. I may have just used this much. I will look back myself and then update the description in the video with the right amount. Happy with the brush, happy with the performance of the soap. Next time I might use more soap, a little bit longer load time. And 161 now on the Nacet. So there we go. Hey, I hope there was something here for you. I know that the soap here is not it's not one that's just everybody's got, and so maybe this video will help folks to know a little bit more about it, at least be a history, because it is a discontinued product, and so it's going to be one that maybe people aren't watching for evaluations, but watching just to know what it was like And if it might be in their wheelhouse, maybe they could chase some down, because it is available sometimes on the used market. All right. Well, there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care. Good night.